carbon tax carny made close to $1 million in deferred shares from Brookfield, one of the biggest investors in the People's Republic of China, one of the world's worst polluters and human rights violators. Yet he supports the carbon tax on hardworking Canadians.
Another day, another poopy pants liberal government. Welcome back to Moose and the Loose. My name's David. Today, we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. My previous video, I showed the video of Jagmeet having a complete meltdown, popping his top and going after the guy heckling him. So that's just one example. It's not just Jagmeet, though. All the liberals, Justin Trudeau's asked about losing the by-election, the one they've held for years. And, well, we've got that clip. We've got a bunch of other stuff. So let's jump into it. We got this clip here of Captain Schmuck. So Justin Trudeau's first day back in the office. And what does he do? He gets a camera crew to follow him into the building like some sort of celebrity. Only Justin Trudeau would do this. And not only that, he looks like a complete lunatic in this video. Ready?
Hello, I got faces. See you.
Okay, what is with this face? He looks like I'll let you guys decide what kind of person looks like that. Oh, scary.
How are you doing? Good stuff.
Merci.
Let's go.
This guy just looks like a complete nut job. Like, look, what is this? Is he on the nose candy? Like, he looks like just absolutely nuts in this video. This part here looks... Ugh, we're gonna move on. He's such an embarrassment. I can't stand his face or his voice. Atomic level smug. Nobody loves Justin as much as Justin loves Justin. Oh, we got this one here. So here's Laura Palestini and Trudeau celebrating before their loss. So arrogant. Oh, you guys lost. You lost. You lost. Here we've got a graphic which really shows it quite well. So 2015, you can see liberal dominance, like 44%, basically all the way through 43 here. 27, so that's a big drop, and this just basically completely got split almost 50-50 between Bloc and NDP. Like, this is a major fall. Where's the Conservative Party on these graphs? Yeah, they don't like showing that. They don't like to show that there's actually some conservative numbers coming in. I've got them for you guys. Here's the results. They're the same as when I showed them. Conservative Party here, 11.6%. So they actually had 8% for a while. They climbed up. I mean, that's pretty substantial from the last election, was like almost nothing. So if you look too, like, look at all these independents, just crazy. We've even got the Rhinoceros Party, the Purple People Leaders. We got them all in here. The MJ Party. Yesterday's video, I told you about Laura Palestini. This is the Liberal candidate here that lost by only 200 votes. And I told you she just kind of stormed out. Well, I got the footage here because I want to show you. It was at this point here, you can see it says 22%, and these two had 33 and 30%. So she just gave a speech and stormed out. And they thought she went out to get some air. No, she stormed out. I wonder if she learned that from Trudeau. But here's the footage.
We're all trying to figure out why Laura Palestini gave that speech when she gave that speech. You got any insight? What's the vibe and the reaction at the headquarters after that?
Well, David, I can tell you one thing. As much as she was energetic in her speech, she was also energetic in leaving the party. She immediately left as soon as she gave that speech. She did a few steps saying thank you to the volunteers, turned around, went out the door, and of course we followed her. Thought maybe she was just getting some fresh air. No, she got in, drove away.
So she got in and drove away. What kind of leader, someone who wants to be a leader of their community, would do that? Pathetic. The Liberal government, due to lies and corruption, has turned into a party of losers. Yeah, we all know the Liberals are babies. Got this clip here of Karina Gould. She's asked about the failure of Verdun and losing that by-election.
A message from the by-election. So was there anything that's going to change?
Yeah, I mean, as I said this morning, I mean, I think what it's for us to do as the government, as Liberals, is to demonstrate that we are hearing Canadians, and they need to feel that we're hearing them. You know, we spent the summer listening to them, and it's our job now to show Canadians that we're hearing them, concrete actions. You know, it's the it's only been a couple of hours since we've gotten the results. So so give us some time to digest that.
I don't think people in the streets have time. If you really wanted to do something, you could axe the carbon tax by lunch. So Canadians don't want to hear this crap. She said this 10 times more confidently to Vasi last night. The hypocrisy in her statement is mind-boggling. She blabbers about needing to listen to Canadians, yet she turns off comments on her posts. Sorry, Karina, we're not buying what you're selling. Exactly. A lot of these liberals, they block their posts. It's ridiculous. The problem is for 4 years, they did not listen, and now they're only listening till the next election. Then it will be back to following their own agenda. Next up, we got Captain Schmuck himself. He's got diaper rash from losing that by-election.
Just in English, your reaction to the results last night.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate everyone who stepped up in putting their name on a ballot at a time where we know politics is in a challenging moment. I also want to highlight the thousands upon thousands of volunteers who stepped out, lots for our party, but lots for other parties as well, to show that people are still very much engaged. At the same time, we need people to be more engaged. We need people to understand what's at stake in this upcoming election. Obviously, it would have been nicer to be able to win and hold Verdun.
What exactly is at stake, Justin Trudeau? What is it? Or are you thinking about pushing some buttons there and angering the bear over in Russia so we don't have an election? Is that what's at stake, or is it something else?
But there's more work to do, and we're going to stay focused on doing it.
What do you think went wrong?
Oh, I think there's all sorts of reflections to take on that, but the big thing is to make sure that Canadians understand that the choice they get to make in the next election about the kind of country we are really matters, and that's the work we're going to continue to do.
He's just a layer of slimy, filthy snake and lies. You can tell he's just really holding it back, and he had something really he wanted to say, but he's not going to say it. Dude looks like he spent time in cell block at Ottawa Carleton. Weakness dripping out of every hole. I love watching this. He's looking very tired. Perhaps his taskmasters at WF are asking for more than he can give. He looks wrecked. He deserves it, and some. Looks like he's starting to lose that hairline too. Uh-oh, his beloved hairline. He's such a roach. What a pile. Pride is a deadly sin. He's looking rough. Maybe his hair and makeup people have left him too. These comments. We got this absolute buffoon. Bloc Quebec leader Yves Francois Blanchette says Quebecers are less eager for a federal election than the rest of Canada.
We spend a lot of time hearing you ask the question about, if Mr. Polyev votes down, how will you vote? What will you do if you hear from Quebecers telling you they want a federal election? Because your calculus is obviously different than the other parties because you're focused on what's happening in these 78 ridings. So what if Quebecers tell you, yes, Mr. Blanchette, now is the time that we want to go?
Polls are worth what they are worth. It's not precise science, to say the least. But what we have seen is that Quebecers want less an election than Canadians. And I believe they understand that there is an opportunity to get something out of the situation. But I hear every day some Quebecers who, by themselves, and not because somebody tells them to say it, come to me and say, we would like to go into election. We would like to get rid of. But getting rid of Mr. Trudeau in order to have him replaced by Pierre Poilievre, who basically says the same thing or nothing about successful immigration, about oil and gas, about security of the state, about challenging French language protection in Quebec, about all of those things, about the way we treat elders, the healthcare money transfers from Ottawa to Quebec and provinces. They say basically the same thing. So what's the point of replacing one person that does not work for Quebecers by another person that will not work for Quebecers? In the meantime, let's grab something.
The Quebecers who voted for NDP Bloc or Liberals are a bunch of mindless zombies who aren't paying attention to what's going on in our country. This guy talks about funding from Ottawa. What about the equalization payments from Alberta? These self-righteous white knights won't put in dams and all sorts of other projects where they could generate their own money. They end up just stealing it from Alberta like a bunch of schmucks. Sorry to break it to you, but Quebec And the Bloc is not Canada. It doesn't represent Canada, period. So next up, we got a clip here of Stephen Guilbeault. As Ryan Gerritsen says here, what a waste of paper. This is the environment minister. He's going to waste a bunch of paper doing one of these kind of things here. So I'll play it.
Polyev has been the leader.
So, you know, it's one of these things where you're talking and then you keep pulling it. Like, this is the environment minister doing this. It's so stupid.
Offer our empty slogans. He talks about technology as a solution to climate change, but voted against every measure we've put in place to support technological development. What he wants to do is eliminate investments in a cleaner future for Canadians, clean air and clean water. What is his plan? Cut, cut, cut. He doesn't even want to have the conversation about how Canadians are.
This guy was sitting at his desk with a stack of paper, writing this out so he could make his little social media video. Like, this is so embarrassing to even watch this.
Being impacted by climate change. He wants to ignore the impacts of floodings, forest fires, and heat waves. But we are on
I'm just waiting for one of them to be upside down.
the right track. We can meet our 2030 targets. We can provide a cleaner future for our kids and grandkids. But we're the only party, the only government that has a plan to do so. And don't give a free pass to Pierre Poilievre as he would give a free pass to big polluters in this country.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. This is not very environmental, Guilbeault. Guess we don't care about trees anymore. He could have at least used both sides of the paper like our printer defaults at work. It's about the environment, right? And what happened to planting all those trees, Guilbeault? Did you guys forget about that? We've got a little video update here of the MPs that need to be named, the traitors in our country.
Reality could remain unless the RCMP investigates and lays charges.
You can't simply go out and provide the names of those people to the press and say these people are doing something improper. If you're going to allege something like that, you either have to put forward proof and prosecute somebody, or shut up.
The Deputy Prime Minister said Liberal caucus will follow up internally, but didn't give details or commit to kicking anyone out if the intelligence is true and they're still in office.
Yeah, we all know who those people are. There's 11 of them. I wonder what party they're part of. So we got this one posted by Right Blend. It says MPs attended a dinner party to celebrate the return from summer vacation on the first day of Parliament. Like, what a waste of money. Meanwhile, the government refuses to name the 11 MPs accused of working with hostile foreign countries against Canadian interests. Like, they really know how to waste the just utmost amount of money.
The theater's over now. The theater's over. Look at this. Do politicians need police to walk through the people? That tells everything right there. That tells everything right there that you can't walk amongst the people that you need police. You're nothing more than criminals. This house has to come
Keep
down.
smiling.
You're treasonous. You're thieves.
It's true, though. I mean, if you have to walk with police, I mean, what does that say? It says you guys are a bunch of failed losers. A solution to the undisclosed traitor problem in a fall election is to treat all 338 current members as suspects, suggesting to vote for anyone other than the 338 current members of Parliament. True, it isn't an ideal solution, but at least it would flush the system so it can reboot. That would be interesting. A complete reboot, but I mean, they have the names. Just name them, throw them in jail, throw them somewhere where they can be investigated and can't just flee the country. Maybe it's because they're people in power. Maybe, huh? You can't touch me. And regarding the traitors, we got this other clip here from Right Blend, and basically Michael Barrett comes towards them and he agrees that the 11 need to be named. Name the 11. That's what we got to do. We got to figure out who these people are. They can't just be in our government voting on stuff while being treasonous. It's preposterous. First up, we got a clip here of John Rustad. We have an election coming up here in BC very soon, in like a month. He's unveiling his platform officially now, and he's talking about healthcare in this clip.
Our system is basically collapsed. It is in a crisis. More money is not going to solve the problem. We need to build out additional facilities, but most importantly, we need to actually change the model that we're doing. We have to be looking at the models of places in the world that are far more successful with healthcare than we are.
Yeah.
And we have to say it's okay to change what we're doing. It's okay to say it's not working. It's okay to come in and say, let's do better.
It's interesting. This is something Justin Trudeau would never do. He would never admit something is wrong. He would never admit he's done something bad. that he's failed. He just can't do it. That's the problem when you have narcissists in power.
The systems in Europe, which are universal health care, just like we have, single payer, but they're delivered by both government and non-government agencies. And the funding follows the patient instead of funding the system. And so by doing that, it allows us to be able to make sure that we get the best we can available for our patients. It allows us to be able to have innovation. It allows healthcare professionals to be better utilized within our system. It allows us, quite frankly, to see the improvements that we need within healthcare, certainly for places like Surrey, but right across this province in terms of what we need to be able to do.
So I want to address one comment here. It says 16 years as a BC Liberal, suddenly he's a Conservative. Yeah, the reason for that, he's explained it in another video, that he had Conservative views that didn't really align with his party. He just kept on, trying to do what he could, and eventually got to a point where he couldn't be a part of the Liberals anymore, and he left the Liberals. And then he ended up getting back into politics to reboot the Conservative Party, which didn't really exist here in BC. So we got an update on this story. So this is the woman who accidentally sprayed a little bit of water out of a water gun, and then Nutjob, who lived next door, filed charges against her, and then she was suspended from her job. So there's a GoFundMe campaign, and I couldn't share it on my video because it turns out, you can see here, GoFundMe canceled the fundraiser. So it's time to cancel GoFundMe. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. It's time to cancel this stupid website. I mean, they did this with the Freedom Convoy. This is a woke organization that should never be used by anyone. And as someone pointed out here, they should be using Give, Send, Go instead. So hopefully her family or someone can set up a Give, Send, Go for her, and she can get some money to fight the legal charges of her nutjob neighbor, because it's ridiculous. As well as the cops, they need to be charged too for being terrible. They should have their badges taken and be removed off the force for charging a woman weapon charges with a water gun. Like, how stupid are we getting in this country now? Next up, we got this traitor here, Elizabeth May. She's, as Ryan Garrison says, is now telling us what Canadians want.
And what you heard from Canadians over the summer, do you think that there should be a federal election this fall?
I'll tell you what, what I hear from Canadians is that they don't like stupidity. They don't like partisan politics for the sake of being hyper-partisan. It was under Stephen Harper that I think it was viewed universally as a good thing for Canadian democracy to have a fixed election date, to reduce the game playing around, we're going to call a snap election, we've decided we want it. We know that governments and politicians look at the polls and decide this is our chance. John Horgan did it in BC, it's across party lines, he was NDP. Doug Ford does it in Ontario, okay. But the fixed election date was put in place in order to provide certainty for things that really matter, like getting through a legislative agenda. The first prime minister to bring in the fixed election date was also the first prime minister to break it, when Stephen Harper ignored his fixed election date for the 2008 election. We would like to see work done before throwing Canadians into a federal election. We have 3 provincial elections this fall. They're consequential. They elect provincial governments in Saskatchewan, New Brunswick, and British Columbia. It certainly means that a federal election is not realistically in the offing, at least for 2024.
I dare you to tell that to Canadians living on the street, Elizabeth May. You live with a silver spoon. You're so rich. You've been doing this job for forever. She's in her 70s now. People on the streets, they want election tomorrow. They want it yesterday, last week. This is so disconnected. She's always been kissing up to Trudeau and the Liberal Party. It's just disgraceful. Nobody cares what she thinks. Oh, somebody posted this clip. This is when she's had a little bit too much of that stumbling juice.
Welcome back, Omar Cotter. It matters to say it. Welcome back, Omar Cotter. You're home. Welcome back.
It's time for her to retire. Juice bag Betty has no clue what Canadians want. You can literally smell the cat piss on her. What? The drunk with 2 seats is patronizing the failed Liberal Party with NMPs. Exactly. They should have breathalyzers at the House of Commons. Next, we got this one from Senator Leo Hakos, a Conservative. He says, Justin Trudeau and carbon tax Carney are 2 sides of the same coin. No matter which side the coin lands on, Canadians pay the price. Essentially, extended family carbon tax Carney and Justin Trudeau.
Senator Hakos. Senator Gould, your leader in waiting, Mark Carney, has now officially signed on as Justin Trudeau's financial advisor. But he isn't a member of cabinet or even the PC appointment. He's been hired by the Liberal Party of Canada. This is extremely troublesome, as it means he's not subject to the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Act. Not that Justin Trudeau believes he's subject to it either, but raises the question as to Mr. Carney's loyalties. Are they to the Canadians or to the Liberal Party? Or are they to the boards that he sits on whose best interests he has a fiduciary obligation to put first? Which is it, Senator Gould? Liberal Party of Canada, financial firm PIMCO, online payment firm Stripe, investment firm Brookfield Asset Management, or maybe is it the World Economic Forum on whose board he's been serving since 2010? Which one, Senator Gould? Which one?
Senator Gould.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to respond to your question, Senator. Mr. Carney has had an exemplary career serving Canadians and indeed serving others with his extraordinary blend of economic competence and commitment to combat the existential crisis of climate change. Canadians are well served by Mr. Carney willing to provide advice to this government as it charts a measure forward.
You know what's an existential crisis? Is what's going on with Putin and Russia. That's a real crisis, because all he has to do is push a button and then the whole world goes to crap. They know this, and that's one of the other ways I'm sure they're making a lot of money from. But climate change is big business too.
I encourage all, especially those who see themselves as a government in waiting, to learn a little more economics from someone so well placed to advise us.
This brown noser. You got something on your nose there, Mark Gold. It's not gold. I tell you that.
Senator Hakos.
Senator Gould, what we learned last year, carbon tax Carney made close to $1 million in deferred shares from Brookfield, one of the biggest investors in the People's Republic of China, one of the world's worst polluters and human rights violators. Yet he supports the carbon tax on hardworking Canadians. Tell me, Senator Gould, how can that be seen as anything other than putting one's fortunes ahead of those of Canadians? Justin Trudeau and carbon tax Carney really are two sides of the same coin, aren't they?
Senator Gould.
No, they are not. But I gather that the summer break did not calm your tendency to use any efforts to smear an important Canadian who was offered to make a contribution to this country. And I think it's regrettable that we start this session with that same tone.
It's regrettable. It takes so much effort for him to answer that, and clearly he's hiding, something. Jumping over to my group, let's see what memes we've got today. Melanie Jolie quietly okays multi-million-dollar loophole in sanctions to permit imports of Russian diamonds in transit. Jolie has defended sanctions as necessary in the W word for freedom. What is going on here? Yeah, where's the CBC on this? Yeah, good question. Trudeau to allow non-confidence vote. And then, this person said here, why do I think he's up to something? Yeah, he's definitely up to something. Sources say Trudeau to allow non-confidence vote as early as next week. So, if that's the case, then he knows he's still in bed with Jagmeet. And so he doesn't care because he knows that Jagmeet will vote with him. But Jagmeet's got to get that pension. So that would be why. Jagmeet's just doing politics. They're having a glass behind closed doors and having a laugh about it. That's what I would suspect, if this is true, to be what's going on. China shouldn't own a single acre of American farmland. China has bought a lot of farmland, a lot of, they're buying mines and all sorts of mills and stuff in Canada. Why would we allow Chinese companies to own our land, our major producing facilities, factories, farmlands? It doesn't make sense. We can't go to China and buy their land, but they can come here and buy ours. That's ridiculous. Motion passes. So conservative motion calling on the Auditor General to conduct a full audit of all contracts paid out to GC Strategies. Yeah, no kidding. Those guys should be behind bars by now. First, Jaggy Poo left me, and then I lost the by-election seat. It all those meanies, Harper and PP's fault. Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't blamed Harper for losing the by-election yet. Next thing we really got to think about is, what is up Justin Trudeau's sleeve? Is it just that he has that deal with Jagmeet and they're laughing about it behind closed doors, or something else going on?